Welcome back to the series of getting to know your contract. We're talking about financing, and this is the big one, right? The financing contingency when we're thinking of 8B, the option that you're going to buy the property, but you need somebody to loan you the money. And that person loaning you the money isn't based on an assumption that the mortgage already exists. That isn't based on a seller financing the transaction. This is a third party being involved, whether it's a private lender, an institutional lender, a non-traditional lender, you name it, hard money lender, this is what should be selected as that option, right? Option 8B. In that case, there's very important timelines that you need to be aware of. Okay, so the financing, the loan approval, if you don't put in a date, it's going to default to 30 days that you have for getting approved by that lender. And I mean approved, not your information submitted in and not them going through underwriting. Loan approval means loan approval. So be aware that you're probably going to want to select more than the 30 days, especially because nowadays lenders are being a lot more rigorous. Even the hard money and private lenders about underwriting you. That means approving you for a loan. So be aware of that. The second part is that if you are, say you want to be able to get a loan, even if it's a hard money loan, and you don't want to have to pay anything more than 14% on that loan, you need to put in percentage wise so that if you are not able to get a loan for that amount, you can get out of the contract. Now, it's really, really important that you do your application for financing timely, whether it's private, hard money, regular, traditional type of loan thing. Why? Because you only have 5 days as a default under your contract, unless you mark otherwise, to apply with your lender. And then your obligation as a buyer is to make as many good faith, diligent efforts as necessary. That means if your lender requires you to submit paperwork to them, you give it timely. And by timely, I mean within a few days as timely. Weeks cannot pass between you giving your lender what they've required. So have your, business statements, your tax returns, everything ready to go for your lenders before you sign a contract to purchase something. Because the more time that it takes for you to provide what's given, the less you're going to be seen as having performed your contract in good faith, your contract obligations in good faith. If you do not get loan approval, if you don't get approved, right, the second your lender tells you that you're not approved for the loan, you've got to give notice to your seller. That is what allows you to get out of the contract and get your earnest money deposit back. If you do not do this, and you've got to be watching out with your timeline. So I recommend calendar everything having to do with your contract. By this date, I've got to do that. By this date, the loan approval period has expired, so that you're not late in giving notice to your seller that you weren't able to get financing, no matter the kind of financing that it was. Why? I've seen this a ton. People make the mistake of relying on their lenders to tell them, yep, you were approved, or no, you weren't approved. And sometimes those lenders don't give those notices until after the time for loan approval has expired under the contract, putting you at peril, right? Because now you can't get your earnest money deposit back. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to lose thousands of dollars. So it's really, really important to be aware of timelines, calendar those timelines, and make sure that if you are seeing that the financing world is taking more time than normal, you write in more time than normal, more time than what's built in to that contract section.